Now come back. So make we see wetin ES6 classes be for JavaScript. So ES6 classes na just way we say we want arrange our object. We want set like template or scaffolding for our object. It go dey carry certain characteristics. It go dey behave in a certain way, and it go dey also carry also other methods we go dey follow am. Na that time you go want create a class. So to create a class, you go need to use the class keyword. So we go say class. This no be CSS class. This is not JavaScript class. We want to give our class a name. So make you give this class a name. So we call them car. The next thing we need now curly brace. And as we don't write down like this now our car class. So what do we need this car class for? We just need them say we say anytime when we create a car, the car going to carry certain features come. It going to carry all ready-made properties, follow come properties come. Now we want to do with this our car class for here. So how we go take do am? What we want to be say we want to say we need a constructor inside this our car class. Now what be the constructor? The constructor now just way to the structure our class, to dey arrange our class, to dey shape our class. So if you say, okay, we want make this constructor, now method, mind you. So we go say we want the parentheses, and then after the parentheses, you go say you want your block code, your curly braces. Now here we go come write any other of the properties where we want inside this our constructor. So now the reason why classes dey now today now like easier way to dey interact with objects. Before we dey always use prototypes and all those things, but we know go talk about prototype or inheritance for here. That's that one, we know suppose even near am for this video like this, but just know say that one day, and this now how in the modern day we dey take interact with that object. So the normal constructor or the shape where we want make carry be say we want make anytime when we call car, make car they get name, make car they get year. Now what we want, maybe they give our car a name and maybe they give am a year every time we want call car. So make we say we want name, make I come here for inside this our parentheses. So we go say we want name. So I go say name, and then you go put comma, and then we go say we want year, right? Then the second argument where we dey pass it for there, right? Then after that, they still get another way where we go need to access them. Remember, say I tell you say everything for JavaScript now object, which means say we go need to use this keyword to dey access the properties for this method where we dey call. So to dey access the name, to dey access the year. So what I mean by this method, this keyword, I just mean say you go need type this dot, and then you go come attach them to these properties for here, right? So we go say we want them this dot name. You understand? We'll come assign them say it equals to name. So now what we do is say we create our own instance or our own version of a car property. Now this one now we do am no be JavaScript the follow come. Now we create what we want to do. We create our own JavaScript methods and class and all that. Now we do for this side. So we go say okay, after we don't get the name, waiting again we need the year. So we go say now give us this just like before. We go say this keyword dot year, and then we go just assign them that equals to year. All right. So once we do it like this, we will come press our semicolon to close them off. So now we get a full car. So anytime when we call this car, we go see say this car go they always give us say we get car dot name, which now name, and we get car dot year, which could give us the year of this car. Well, to use our car class now, because we don't define them, now we feel even use them. So make I just comment them up here for us. Say make we say make I just comment them say. And once we don't define the class, make we say the next thing we want to do now say we want use the class or we want initialize the class. So I could say initialize the class, right? So now what we want to do, or column, or whatever you want column, all right? If you initialize now big one, no worry, just me say start them. So that means say we want start the class. In fact, make I down like that. So what we want to be say make I change the initialize to start the class, all right? That's the whole idea. So if I can't open this my class now, how I want take use them. Now we want try do for here. To use them, we're going to say we want use the new keyword. Now, the new keyword now going help us make a new car any amount of times we want, new object any amount of times we want. So we go say we want new, and which one we want? We want new waiting, the object we want with it. So we want the car, right? We want our parentheses for there. Now, inside our parentheses, we go pass in the parameters we defined, right? With the arguments we define. So which argument we define? We define the name of the car, which will be a string, right? So we go say the car will be defined now, Benz, right? And after we don't write that Benz, we go say the second parameter, make we talk the year, 2020. If we want to use this class, we're going to need to assign them to a variable, right? So we go say, okay, we want to call this variable, make we call them const, and make we call them Benz, for example. So we go just say Benz. Ben's car rather. And this Ben's car we could just equal assign them to that variable. So anytime when we call this Ben's car now, you go see say we fit console log, make I console log the value. Anytime when we call them, we say Ben's, make I say Ben's car, for example. And now you see say we get this Ben's car object ready here. So now this Ben's car object, we fit ask, we fit they get any of the value we want. So if I just duplicate them a few times and I say I want Ben's dot name, it will give me Ben's. If I say I want Ben's dot year, it will give me the year of the Benz. You get that? So for here, we just they initialize another car which is Benz. So what if I say I want to initialize another car will be Toyota? So if I say okay, make we come here again, then I'm gonna say const, and make we just call this Toyo car. And inside this Toyo car, my VS Code is screen. So make I say Toyota car. All right. So we could just say we want the new keyword, and then we go initialize the car again. The car. So we go say one car class. And again, inside that our parentheses, we could come write the car we defined. Toyota, make I just, and then make we give the year, say 2022. And we fit console log these values again. So if I say console log Toyota car, and I say, okay, oh, sorry, I don't make that mistake for there. This is uppercase. That's why I made that mistake. Just change that to small t. Aha. So now camel case again. So if I say I'm like this, you see say now we get this Toyota of 2022. And if I say make I duplicate them a couple of times and say I want car dot name again, and I say I want car dot year again, you see say now we get this class of Toyota where we fit work with. So now so we feel they create, they make this car class, they more interesting to work with. So like we say we want add methods, our own personal method to this our class. So how we go down? Like we say we want a class, we're going to give us the age of the car. You understand? Based on how many years old this car be. We want to make I come on this Toyota first. Like we say, we want create a class. So just like we did do methods for JavaScript objects before, now the same way we did do for inside our class. Also remember, we could say we want create a find age, or make I say show age method. Now this show age method, because now method we go write down like function, so we go say parentheses curly brace, right? Now once we talk like this, we go like make we add the values or make we add the date, right? Or wait, make we do the code where we want execute for inside our show age method where we work with, right? So I go like use the current date where we get. So I go like say okay, let's date, and then I go just assign them to new date, which now also follow come JavaScript class where we get. Make we close them. Now, what thing I want to do with this new date now, say I want return, make this show age, this function or this method, make it return the value come of the current year where we get like this minus the year where we they pass in. So what thing I want to do be say, I want to say, sorry, return the date dot get full year, and this go give me now the current year where we get, so it go get the full year for me. But waiting I want to be say I want deduct the year where we did now. I want to deduct this real life date now, today year. I want to deduct this one from you understand? So I go come say minus this, then at this object they affect this object, remember? So I go come say now as they affect this object, I want make it come get the year. So I go say this dot year. You see say now it work for me nice for there. So if I close them now, make I add another one here. So I could just say console log or CLG, and I want get make we do Ben's car, make we do Ben's car dots. You just say now we get our method of show age for there. So if I say I want to do car dot show age, you go see say now we get our method. And now anytime I call them, it go they give me the year, say 2 years, which now 2020, right? So if I say this our Benz now Benz of like I say 1946 now, for example, you can see say now 76-year-old Benz. So you understand now. So it go to show me for there. We fit even run operations for them. We fit even pass arguments into our method. So I feel say okay, now just get me the current year. And if I say current year for here, if you just clean this one here and say I define current year, and make we clean this one too and say I define current year for here. Make I just clean the first one, sorry. So we go just return current year, and then we go just do that current year minus this dot here. So whatever current year will be passed in and that year wey we define for here, na im e go give us. So you dey see say now we dey get none, which now means say there is no current year. So if I say the current year now 2020, 22, you fit see say now we dey pass am like this and it dey work as the current year. But wetin we wan do be say we wan get the current year dynamically, right? We wan make the browser dey always dey tell us wetin the current year be. So just like we did it before outside our method for here, remember outside our class for here and outside our method, we go just define that date. So remember, as we take define the date again, we just say let date, make you assign them to a new date. Remember? So we go say date, not data, but date. Now, as we don't call them date, so then we can say now this date, what we want to be say, we want to get the year. So we can say, okay, now we need year. So we say year. Okay, I say let year equals to date dot get full year, right? Now the method will be fine. So we could just call them there. And now anytime I call year, anytime I want pass year, I could just pass the current year into this our function. So I just say you see they give me the same value as 76. So anytime you want to get the current year, now so you they use do am for JavaScript. So make we just move this class up a bit. Make I clean them, move them up here. Our class they get as many methods as they want. So if you create as many classes as you want. But for now, that's all we need to learn. I will see you now for the next video. Thank you.